You know, I have a background in repairing old European vehicles, and this was the next step. It went from OBS Chevy Tahoes to, well, that's not exactly a Chevy Tahoe. So my name's Alan Kralichek, and this is my 2001 Mercedes G500, imported by Europa International out of New Mexico. They're in Colorado now. I've had it for about 2.5 years now. It's just been an absolutely fantastic ride for me. You know, it's a very, very straightforward and simple setup on this car. So it's just a 2-inch Ironman 4x4 lift. It's just their springs, and I've used Old Man Emu, the nitrocharger shocks. I found it to be a little bit better for what I required of the vehicle. You know, I absolutely romp on this thing. It ends up, you know, being a submarine. I mean, it goes into Moab. I mean, it's on 3 wheels more than it is 4. I mean, these things don't have any flex, but you make do. They don't need much. I mean, compared to, I guess, like a 4Runner or Tacoma or anything like that. I mean, these things are just, they're built like tanks. They're ready to go. Triple locked, front, rear, center diffs. You know, and they don't have or need much armor. I mean, I have some sliders and some rocker protection that I made for it. I absolutely use the heck out of those too. I mean, I don't think they're straight anymore. The ladder frame on it, it's so close and actually really low compared to the rest of the truck that it just slides over everything naturally. I mean, the natural, like, factory headlights on these things are basically candles. Here's a mirror, here's a candle, good luck. So these are actually like JW speaker replica lights. I had to modify the housing a little bit to get them to work. I didn't want to try to modify actual JW speaker lights to get them to work. So I went after these, got them on. They've been doing great so far. You know, did LEDs in the factory bumper, you know, and then the little LED strip underneath the on the brush guard. So, you know, I sort of set it up the way that I did because that whole brush guard actually flips down to do any service. So if I've got to pull a radiator out in the middle of the trail, that brush guard actually flips down. Recovery gear wise, you could probably see there's no winch. I haven't needed one yet, oddly enough. I mean, the thing's been in 4 feet of mud. You know, just overall, these things are pretty good at not getting stuck. You know, and I sort of go about the build, I'm not putting anything on it until there's a need for it. And I know that's gonna bite me one day. I'll take that chance. Most of what's on there has actually been used for somebody else.
I just bought a new whip. Spend a couple thousand just to cruise it. Shawty said she love me, but I swear she'll never prove it. I never tell her, but I put it in the music. Well, that's okay. All I wanna do is make the best of my whole day. Thank the Lord up above, get the cream on the side, make you laugh to no end. That's the stuff that I love, la da da da.
I have a tendency to hate when everything on the roof of a vehicle extends past the mirrors when they're folded in. It's based off of a front runner rack. The tent is actually on front runner load bars. But the rest of the rack, I took front runner, the gutter mount feet, and then I put my own extrusions on them. For all the tight trails I do back out east, I did put some of my little homemade limb risers on it. So when I'm in, you know, the Ozarks in Arkansas, they keep everything off the windshield for me. I mean, that flat of a windshield, it just, you put a windshield in it, it's gonna crack in 10 minutes. I mean, just give up. Reality is they're actually moving branches and everything away from the truck, so they're not getting caught on the rack. So it's an Ironman 4x4, 2.5 meter awning, ARBs, I think it's a Simpson 3 roof tent, and just alley boxes, so I've got one on the roof, one inside. A lot of those accessories, the mount kits and everything are all done by Front Runner. So I do have a Cascadia 4x4, that hood solar panel setup. So we, you know, just had that developed this past couple months actually. So it's a 65 watt panel. As it is now, everything's running on the start battery. So there is a fridge, there is accessories around the truck that it runs, you know, undercar lights and everything. I mean, it's fairly simple inside. Hood panel's been doing great keeping that fridge going. I mean, it's been in there for about 1.5 years now, and it's never been dead. So, and it runs 24/7, 365 a year. As far as everything in the rear of the truck, I've got the front runner Bry grill. It's a little bit strapped together right now because I burned off one of the legs. Believe, if I remember correctly, it's a Rock Slide Engineering spare tire mount for, I usually have a Rotopack here. So yeah, I guess I'll, you know, show you guys how kind of simple it is back here. Don't mind the back panel. You know, kind of building a you know, electrical outlet set up through a drop-down table. You know, I had a lot of water come in that past weekend, so still kind of drying everything out. They're Ironman 4x4 drawers that I modified to fit to this truck. Ended up having to shorten them. As far as drivetrain goes, it's the factory Mercedes 5-liter V8, 5-speed transmission, and you know, triple lock divs. It is the original motor. It's never been opened up. Just this trip, it actually ticked over 250,000 miles. I think I've done about 80,000 in this thing alone this past year. Transmission's been perfect. I don't think it's ever been opened up. It doesn't look like it's ever been opened up. In the history of this thing, it's had the original running gear. Pretty simple. I mean, everything in this thing is just built for a reason. You know, everything that you could need within a couple seconds to open the back door, it's all right there. The truck's actually managed to be pretty reliable over that 80,000-ish miles of just absolutely beating on it. Thanks for checking out my Mercedes G500. If you want, you can follow me on Instagram at Galandalax. I know it's weirdly pronounced, but it'll show up.